So the UCI Energy Invitational is a competition that schools from all over Orange County and LA compete in to basically build the most efficient race car possible. This is through like weight reduction and aerodynamics and reducing rolling resistance. It's really just a competition to see who can build the most efficient car. In the competition, there's a max limit of 1.5 kilowatt hours of energy, which equals about $1 of energy. And the race is broken into 4 heats of 10 laps each, and you have to complete each heat in under 15 minutes.
So it's not just about the fastest car in this race, it's also about which one can conserve as much electricity or energy while doing it, which one's the most efficient, because I think that's a really important facet to think about moving on with our careers.
So Tustin High School started along with Foothill High School at the same time at the very, very beginning. So 10 years ago, we were asked to be part of this, and we said, yep, by all means. We cobbled together a little tiny car, each of us, and we competed in the first ones. So we've been improving ever since. We've had a friendly rivalry going back and forth. So between Foothill and Tustin, we've had a top place almost at every single one of the events.
I think we did pretty well. We were really close to getting second place, but we had a bit of a technical difficulty with our car, so it didn't recognize our electricity output. But I think overall, I'm really happy of how we've done, and it was a really fun experience being able to construct a car and think of all the little tiny intricacies that come into building a vehicle with my nice friends and classmates. We built this entire thing, our entire car from scratch, so we didn't really know if we'd finish in time. Thankfully, by the last day, right before the competition, we were able to get everything finalized. We actually hadn't really test run it with a person in it. So our first ever test run was during the competition in our first heat. And we did really well. It worked, first of all it worked, which is great. We had enough battery to last all 10 laps. We ended up like barely making the time cutoff of 15 minutes because we didn't know how to pace ourselves. But yeah, the first time going around, I was very nervous, but we were able to do pretty well. We were able to finish. And then for the next 3 different heats of racing, we ended up doing phenomenally. We ended up cutting it down to 13 minutes exactly. I'm really proud of how well we did, being able to start from nothing and get a working functional car that actually competed really well and would have done really well if it wasn't for some technical difficulties.
Going into the competition, we were definitely an underdog. We're made of all underclassmen. We have 2 juniors, and the rest of our members are freshmen and sophomore. Our car was definitely nowhere near the budget of some of the other teams there, but like through consistent testing and strategy, we were able to come up on top, like as much of a surprise as much of the competition there. So the CTE pathway actually gives us a lot of hands-on experience with designing and testing and the whole engineering process. So for example, right now we're machining custom spinning tops. So you start about thinking about the theoretical principles of engineering, about what would make something spin for a long time, and then you get to actually go and make that. And then once you make it, you can find the feedback from the actual design and then go back and restart. And I think that pathway of experimentation really helped us with improving our car.
Ever since freshman year, starting this program, it's all kind of led up to this year and having a project-based assignment and grading. And so getting the opportunity to compete to hopefully take the first place. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that, but to compete for the UCI competition, it was definitely something that I'd been looking forward to. By going through this pathway, it's helped elevate my skills and it has led to job opportunities already. And I would say having the ability to practice, to have the room, have the tools, have everything necessary to learn the stuff that I need has all been extremely beneficial. Eventually I want to go into mechanical engineering for automotive, specifically performance aftermarket. And I think with all the CAM and CAD certifications and classes and stuff that has been provided through the program, it's definitely brought me a lot closer to achieving that goal. And I feel more prepared going into college next year and being enrolled in some engineering classes. I feel more prepared than I think I would have been coming from a different high school with a different program or no program at all, because essentially the first year is going to be everything that we've been learning and applying throughout this program.
I've always asked, when am I ever going to use this math and science stuff? And I know that just about every kid is sat in a classroom asking, when am I ever going to use this? So I tell my students, this is where you get to use it, right? You get to use geometry, you get to use algebra, you get to use all sorts of things that you learned in the classroom that are now applicable to something that you can touch. So I think that's what we've done so well, is because they're prepared well academically and they're excited to go out there and apply it. One of the best things we can do for a student's educational career is to bring relevance to their curriculum. What is it that they're learning that they can then use in real life, or prepare them for an applicable, useful thing out in the real world? And I think that the more we do of that, the better.